All right, everybody, super pumped today to have good buddy Callum Johnson of Happy Go Fishing Charters. We are going to show you how in one day you can start with nothing and get properly set up to go out and catch lake trout. For me, being around Lake Simcoe here all the time, I see all the giant lakers that this guy's catching, and I didn't know how to do it. And today we're gonna show you in one day how you can have the equipment, get things organized, and actually go out and catch some fish. I mean, I'm pumped to have you here. I'm pumped to start getting this thing set up to go be a lake trout killer.
Let's try it.
All right, man, let's get it rolling. The first thing you need to do is obviously pick yourself up a Downrigger. Got this one pretty simply offline. What, a couple $100? It was about 180 bucks, I guess, shipped. So that's kind of what you're looking at to get started. It's a manual Downrigger. It's going to be significantly less expensive than getting the electric setup and everything else that you need. Except I was told I needed one of these little Downrigger terminal kits. So it's one other little piece that you got to pick up. Yeah. And man, I guess once we've got the equipment, what's the next step? What do we got to do?
So we got to figure out where we can mount the thing. That's crucial to any downrigger. We got to make sure we put it in a suitable place that's not going to be in the way. You don't want anyone tripping over it, but it's also going to fish appropriately as well. So we looked at a couple of options for the front of the boat that we could easily mount to, but it's just not going to work for when you're making turns. It's not going to work for the downrigger. It's going to get under the boat, and it's just asking for trouble. So we think we found a spot in the back of the boat. We're going to go ahead and try and mount it there. Should have no problem. It's going to be out of the way, discreet. No one will even know it's a downrigging boat by the time we're done with it.
All right, man, so let's put it together before we start installing it. So we got all the screws, we've got the bolts, we've got the washers. We basically have every piece out here now. So we've pulled the actual downrigging, call it unit, off the base. So I mean, that's the best part of it. So that's all that's going to be left on the boat. I don't have to have this big, we'll call it full downrigger set that's fully assembled the entire time. When I'm fishing for bass or pike or anything else that I want to do, that's all I'm going to have on the boat, that's awesome.
Yep.
So what's the next step? Let's call it step 2 essentially.
So we're going to build the boom first, and then we'll attach the rod holder, the crank, and then we'll get the base mounted, and that should be it. We should be ready to roll once we get all the other terminal tackle for actually fishing hooked up too. So
sweet. So you got the sleeve? Yeah.
So we got the sleeve in here. There's a couple holes. Looks like it's got to line up with. Sleeve's got some holes in it too, so put that in there. Next,
couple holes there too, right?
A couple holes right in the boom itself.
So make sure those all line up.
Should all line up. So the screw's gonna go on this side, and the nut goes on the other side. All right. You can see one side's got the fitting for the nut. See that? So the nut will fit right in there. We won't even need a wrench on it. Yeah, that nut should just suck right in. Now let's do the end of the boom where the cable's actually going to roll through.
Okay.
We've only got one screw, so I'd imagine this screw goes in here. Okay, done.
Cool. So now we got the end installed. What's up next?
I guess next would be the crank.
So there's threads on the inside, I guess, of the crank itself.
Yep.
And basically you took the protective sleeve off, which was holding the spring from shooting off the edge. Look at that.
Quite confident that's all you need to do. So now we've got the leverage, the strength to pull it up, and then when you want to loosen it down, you back the crank off, and then it will start to free spool.
Cool, we got one piece left really, essentially, to set this up. So
looks pretty simple. You
got the rod holder and a gear. The rod holder shooting, aiming towards the end of the boom, but put it on a 45-degree angle. We'll get it in there so it's in there for now. And then we can always adjust it, right? But it's got those teeth that'll keep it from moving. So we got it cranked in. It won't really move. Yeah. But if I ever wanted to do, we just loosen that off. We'll be able to move it around and set it up once we're out there on the water.
So the crucial part is the base, where you want to put it. We figured this would be the best spot on the back of the boat. It doesn't swivel, so we're gonna mount the base on a 45-degree angle off the back of the boat as well.
I thought that was a very small detail that's gonna have a massive impact, right? If it was me, I would probably, just me on my own, I probably would have had it straight. Yeah. Right, we would have been thinking like, keep it nice and straight. That's gonna keep it a little bit closer to the motor, right? When the boom's coming out, it's gonna come out closer to the motor. So even if we can go 45 degrees off to the side, it's gonna allow it to come out here where we have way less, I guess, chance of there being an issue. So I thought that was a small detail that was huge.
And then we'll even just kind of eyeball it with the rigger on and contrast to where the rod is going to be, because if you mount it too far out, you don't want to be reaching out over the boat to grab the rod when you got a fish on. But right around here, that should be good. The rod's still in the boat.
Perfect.
Booms off the side of the boat, no problem.
Perfect.
So this is perfect. So this is where we're going to mount the base.
Do you know how scary it is to start drilling holes in your boat?
Okay, installed. We got the base on. It proved to be a little bit more difficult. You can expect that when you're mounting these things onto a bass boat. You gotta kind of do a little bit of MacGyvering, but we ultimately got it done. Yeah, base is in, so now all you got to do is just slide the rigger into the base.
So there's a little hole in the front that goes, I guess, in that screw.
Yep. Tighten that in. Now we just got to fish the cable through the rigger. We're going to attach the Scotty terminal tackle, and then we're ready to fish.
Ready to roll? Sweet. We're going to attach the terminal kit to the end of the wire. You need a pair of pliers, the terminal kit. What's in the terminal kit?
So you have a little stopper, and you have some crimps, a little metal sleeve, and a heavy-duty snap swivel. And this is just to attach onto the end of the cable, and this is where you attach your ball to.
Cool.
So first things first is you put the stopper on. There's a fat and a skinny end of the stopper. Put the skinny end on first, so then it has the fatter end can hide all the crimps that you put on.
Crimps, so those cylinders. Okay. From there, you basically want to have enough tag end to make a big loop at the end. You open up the sleeve a little bit so that you can get the big snap swivel on it. And then from there, you run the wire around the sleeve, then the tag end back through those crimps so that it can go through.
We're going to cinch it down just onto that sleeve. So you want it to be sitting like that. And once we have it there, we can crimp that. So take the pliers. Thank you, Aaron.
Squeeze it in there.
Just like your fishing knots, you cut off the tag end. Boom. Stopper comes down, hides those crimps. Now you have your clean setup, just like that.
Awesome, Callum. So now that we've got the terminal kit, I guess what we can do is we can attach the downrigging ball to the terminal kit, which is how you connect it all. So it'd just be this big snap. You've got the two eyelets. The top eyelet there is going to go for the snap. So what you do is you put the snap through it. You've got there, you'll close the snap. You've got the second eyelet, and what you would then do is you'll take your clip here and it'll go off the back. So the big eyelet, that's where you attach to the terminal kit, and that's how you'll attach a downrigging ball to your downrigger. All right, man, so we're out on the water. We've got the downrigger installed. We're able to put the downrigging ball on there. What's the setup?
So we're using a 10-pound ball. I got everything set up. Got about an 18-inch lead to our downrigger clip. Put out about 20 to 25 feet of line behind the boat, and then we're going to attach the line to the downrigger. So let's go ahead and do that. Just literally put the line into the pinchers. It's almost like a clothesline pin, and just the line will slide right out when like it's got enough tension to bring the line down and keep it attached to that 10-pound weight and have enough tension on it so we can detect bites. And when a fish actually takes it, we'll see the bite and the fish will pull it out of the clip, or we'll have to pull it out manually ourselves with the rod. But that's simply how that works.
So we're at about a little more than 100 feet of water.
Perfect.
So you'll be able to, I guess, so you just loosened it off there with the crank.
Yeah, you just back it off and then it will loosen the brake. Now it's just kind of free spooling down.
Awesome. So you can watch the counter, I guess, to make sure that you got enough cable out, and then hey man, we're off to hanging out, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Simcoe Lake trout. Feels like a good one we got here. The new downrigger works like a charm.
Oh man.
Yeah!
Woo! Look at that girl. Happy Go Fishing Charters. There we
Wanna
go.
show 'em off?
Let's show them off.
That's a fatty, man.
That is so. Look how fat she is, eh?
Woo! Yeah, it works.
Go out for a couple hours. Put the downrigger on. You can come on out.
Yeah.
It's not that scary, right?
No.
You can come
All
on
the
out and
same
catch
day.
it. Same day.
Installed, ordered, delivered, installed. Well, we didn't order it today, but we got it today.
Simcoe chunk. Look at the gut on that girl. It's probably the only thing when you're out fishing like this where a big belly is a sexy thing. Because that thing is sexy, my friend.
It is.
Let's get her back in there.
Let's let her go.
Awesome job, man. Awesome job.
She's still strong and healthy.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
such a time. Thanks for
It
coming
is.
out. Thanks for
Awesome,
coming and
man.
playing. I appreciate you coming out and showing us how to do it. And man, I think you know, over the rest of the season, that's definitely going to 10x my experience. I hope some of you out there can go and start to use some of the things that we did today. None of it was all that complex.
No.
Just had to go out, take some time. You can install it, figure it out, get yourself some equipment for under a couple $100. Come out on the water.
Would it take us an hour to install?
An hour
About
to
an hour?
install,
Yep.
but what, half an hour to rig up, and then we've been out here for a couple hours now,
Yeah.
looking for a fish. But why don't see if we can go get one more?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.